back to the B Bunch family. So our anniversary, not our marriage anniversary, but our anniversary of being together, our 10-year anniversary is actually tomorrow. And I found this article that had these questions for couples that have been together and ways to strengthen your relationship. And it's like 10 or 12 questions on camera. We've read them, but we haven't answered them with each other. And a way to reconnect, and it was also a way to do this video for you guys to get to know us. So turn it into something fun. Get a glass of wine for yourself and watch with us. So number one, if you could live one day for the rest of your life, which one would it be and why? I'll go first because I already kind of thought about it. So originally when I read that question, guys, I thought about the birth of Anna, because as soon as they put her on me, it was just a beautiful thing and I love that moment. But then it said the whole day and I was like, well, with all that pain, I don't want to live that day for the rest of my life. So I was thinking about it, and I think that I wouldn't relive the day of actual labor because of the pain and everything, but I would relive maybe our first day that we brought her home. Like the first day that we brought her home and we just got to spend time in our home finally as parents and intimately. I could live that day for the rest of my life. So I think that would be my answer.
I kind of thought the same. I had the same thought process.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't toast. We're supposed to toast before we start.
There you go. So
you had the same thought?
So I had the same thought, when my daughter was born, when Anna was born. I thought, that day, but like I said, that day, I'm like, I really enjoyed.
Oh, the labor?
Yeah, I enjoyed like the post part I'm thinking to myself. I enjoyed the postpartum part when we went up to the room. I really enjoyed that because
he wasn't healing.
So
he just took care of the baby because I was healing, so that's why he enjoyed it, because it was daddy-daughter time.
I enjoyed that part. It was
that's
very
why I said
intimate.
When we took her
home. But if I had to pick another day, or if I had to pick a day, like the whole day to live over,
yeah, some of these questions will stump you a little bit.
I'm gonna say for right now, because I know there are many more days to come, right. Many special days. When we took our first trip to Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah, Puerto Rico, guys. So
one of those beach days, but not one of those beach days. There was one of those days I was complaining because I was too roasted in the sun.
Guys, we've traveled a lot. We've traveled a lot together, and we plan on to continue that and to also show Anna traveling. We're going back to Puerto Rico soon, actually, so we might vlog some of it. But
yes, Puerto Rico. So doing that day over for me.
Yeah, but our trip to Puerto Rico is still one of the best trips. We'll see if the second trip measures up. It's going to be our first trip as a couple after having a baby. It's going to be for our 5-year wedding anniversary. So it should be a good trip. But our first trip to Puerto Rico was in 2017, and it was right before we moved in together. So we were engaged, but we were like newly engaged. So it was kind of like an engagement celebration.
No, we moved in 2016.
No, no.
Yeah, we moved in.
So then our Puerto Rico trip was in 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, 2016. Okay. So basically it was right before we moved in. We were engaged and everything, but we were looking for apartments. Literally like right after we came back from Puerto Rico, we started apartment hunting, and we moved in a couple months after. But so we were engaged, and it was kind of like an engagement celebration right before we moved in, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful trip. And if you guys never been to Puerto Rico, go. Go. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It really was. It was a birthday trip for me too.
San Juan is where we went.
San Juan is where we went. Yeah, we should explore other places, but in Puerto Rico. But yeah.
Question 2.
It says, what is your biggest fear in life?
Spiders, always.
Biggest fear in life, babe?
Oh,
is spiders.
You're talking about. If you're talking about events.
No, it just says biggest fear in life, but I didn't know you were that scared of spiders.
If you're talking about like objects,
I wasn't.
Like life events. This from before. Losing memory of everything. Was that Alzheimer's, dementia, right? Nope. I cannot handle that. Even the thought of that is like my biggest fear in life. Basically not being able to remember anything, and this is gonna sound like a joke, but would I even notice? No, but that's not really the point. And the fact that, you've seen movies and things like that about it, it brings me a lot of heartache to even just like, I can't even picture that. I'm already getting emotional just thinking about it. Like, no.
Yeah. For me, I think it's like losing losing a child, definitely, and especially now that we have a child, like, I know how much you love your children, and that's always kind of a parent's biggest fear. But I think also, like, losing our family in general, and I don't mean like a divorce, I mean like death, like losing your spouse, your kid, like a big death like that. For a while too, it was like not growing old. So a lot of people are like really scared of growing old, and for me, I'm like, well, what's the alternative? If you don't grow old, it's because you died young. And I'm actually like, I'm not afraid of death, but for a while when I was young, I was like afraid of dying young, and that was actually because of a near-death experience. But maybe one day I'll share that story. I'll do a story time on YouTube. But that was because of so I'll give us, since I said it, I got hit by a car when I was 18, so I was fine and everything, but to me it was a near-death experience, and if I ever share the story, you'll see why I say it was a near-death experience. But so for a while I kind of had like that fear, but I kind of worked through it. But I think that any parent or people who are married kind of always have the fear of like losing your spouse, losing your kid, and losing that family that you've built, because tragedy does happen and people do lose their spouse and their children basically at any point, you know. So that's the biggest fear. Well, that's how I took the question. What is one thing you wish you did differently as a mom or a dad? Oh yeah, we put that on there.
You want to go next?
Well, I went. So
okay. So I think the biggest fear.
Well, we're new parents.
What would
So,
I do differently?
What is one thing you wish you did differently? But we're new parents, guys, so we're still learning. She's still like she's about to be 10 months old. But I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not like we've been raising kids together for like so long.
I would say more preparation would not have hurt. You know, the only thing that really ever caught me off guard out of everything, because really just
what do you mean more preparation though?
For the one that really caught me off guard was because we're still, no matter how much they deny it on the news, the formula shortage is still real.
Oh, they don't deny it on the news. It's all over the news.
Formula thing
It's crazy.
And the diaper thing is a lot because of the constant shipment delays, and you don't know when there's gonna be something. You have to wind up front loading a lot of stuff.
And like it's getting better, the formula shortage, but I don't know if it's actually getting better or it's getting better for us because Anna's almost off formula because she's like getting closer to 1 year old. But literally the formula shortage started when I was pregnant, and I didn't even think it would affect us because I was like, oh, it'll be gone by then. And then like it's still happening, going on. And when she was a baby, it was really bad, and it was still going on, and she was a newborn, so you know they drink a lot of formula. And I was breastfeeding, but if you guys watch previous videos, I couldn't solely breastfeed because I never made enough milk, and so we were always somewhat relying on formula. And then there were other reasons why I stopped breastfeeding at like 4 months postpartum. And basically, yeah, she's always had some form of formula. And the formula shortage is like we had to prep so much for formula, had to buy formula in advance to make sure that our child was fed. We didn't hoard buy, but you still had to buy in advance because it took you like 2 weeks to find formula.
It was a lot.
It was a
lot of headaches.
That part. But I mean, hopefully if we have another baby, that will not be a thing in a few years. Like,
yeah, you'll just be able to, I could just go down whenever. Oh, we're out. Okay, I could just get 1 or 2. That's it.
I was trying to think about this question. I wanted to put this question on there, and then I was thinking, well, we're new parents. Is there anything so far? But what is one thing I wish I did differently as a mom or a dad? I don't know. Like, I think I bonded with Anna. My birth experience was pretty what I wanted. Maybe like in the beginning, I had like a lot of anxiety, being someone who went through infertility. I already struggle with anxiety, but being someone who went through infertility and then was pregnant, and her just being a newborn, a new mom, maybe like worrying a little bit less. You're always gonna worry about your kid, but like maybe in those beginning stages, if I could worry a little bit less. But then again, I don't know if that was just normal and that was just hormones, like all of that. So I don't know if I would do it differently but that's the only thing that comes to mind with that so far. Like I said, like I'm sure there'll be many things if you ask me that question in 5 years or 10 years or when we have more children. But and this one's more of like a couple question. What physical feature do you love about me most?
What number was that one? Oh,
physical feature or
I
features?
jumped. Whoops. What physical?
what are you
No, I
talking
jumped to
about?
the next part. The one after that. I was looking.
Oh no.
What physical features do you love? So do I love about you most?
And
So definitely your eyes is one of them.
my
Yeah, because it's just something very easily you can get lost in. You know, that's how it works for me. Your figure, you already know that.
well, my figure has changed throughout our relationship.
So good for me.
Having a baby, not having a baby, all of that. But I mean, it stayed the same and changed. It's weird.
Good for me. Love it. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for you, it was definitely like initially like your arms, upper body.
I've lost a lot of weight since then.
What do you mean?
I feel like my arms look skinny now.
But it's not so much like skinny or built. It's more like your actual like arms. Like I don't know, like
My shoulders.
shoulders. Yeah, like shoulders, upper body. That's what I mean. But also arms. But like I know what you mean, that you've gone up and down too. But like, guys, that's marriage. If you're gonna marry someone, they're not gonna physically look the same. Like you're not gonna look the same when you're like 70 and you guys are like, we've been together 50 years. Upper body, arms, and like lips and stuff. Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, it says for wives say to husband. Okay, so this one's like, I guess depending on your gender, but it's basically saying, what do you prefer me in? And for women, it's asking, what does your husband prefer you in? A t-shirt or lingerie? And then for wives, it's like t-shirt or like suit and dressed up and stuff like that. You want to go first?
So I would do first, right? So I would say,
do you prefer me in like dressed down?
What do you prefer to see me in?
What do I prefer to see you in? I think I like I don't mind anything. Like obviously, like I said, marriage is marriage, and when you love a person and when you're physically attracted to them, you should be physically attracted to them in different forms and stuff like that. But I do like when we dress up together and when we're dressed up and like seeing you not necessarily like in a whole suit, even though not bad, but like dressed up in general, like we are now, or like how we dress for like a date night, or just getting dressed up and being dressed up together and seeing you like that.
I'm usually the very like laid back. I like you in standard like t-shirt and pajamas or t-shirt and jeans. Like I'm very casual. Not to say I don't like the our attire when we dress up.
No, for girls it says t-shirt and sweats, like lingerie.
Yeah,
like
but for
that.
me, yeah, the question for her to ask me if it's t-shirt or lingerie that I like her in, I definitely like the t-shirt stuff and I'm not saying I deny the lingerie stuff either, but what I'm saying, like I like the t-shirt and the like standard like pajama stuff. Like I'm good.
Like you don't have to be the guy who's like, you have to dress
You
up.
have
every
to dress
time.
up for me every. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah, that's kind of weird. Like you should love your woman in both, and you should appreciate when she does dress up for you. But
Exactly.
I've heard stories of like guys who's like, they have to dress up, and it's like every single time, and yeah.
And to each his own. Everybody has their own thing. So.
But that's yeah. Oh yeah, that's
Next
the same one.
Yeah. So
No, that's the same one.
Yeah. If you could now.
If you could live anywhere else on Earth, where would it be? I don't even know.
So I can't really think of that much because we haven't traveled that many places.
We have.
I mean, we have.
But not to live.
Not to live and like, for an extended period of time from where we have
I
been,
know my
maybe
answer
Georgia, but
Oh, really? Like
I
Savannah,
can't-
like where we went?
yeah, but like I can't really like say definitively. Yeah, maybe we could do an update video on that one later, but.
I think I'm gonna take this as a two-parter. Like if I was thinking like for us to move somewhere, just mindset right now, like we said in a previous video, we're looking to move upstate and we're not exactly sure where, but a house upstate definitely. But if I could pick anywhere on Earth, I was also thinking about the fact that one of our goals is to eventually, and this is more for like when our kids are old enough to experience it with us, probably like 10-15 years I'm talking, like long-term goal, is to spend at least a year in Spain and
Yes.
live temporarily, short-term move in Spain. And so I would say Spain for that, and hopefully that dream comes true one day, and we actually do. And we've been wanting to do that, and a lot of people were like, why didn't you do that before you had kids? But literally part of the intention is for our children to experience and be immersed in another culture, not just on vacation, but to actually experience to live somewhere else other than America. And we just found a cool teaching program in Spain, and hopefully one day we get to do that. But I definitely want Anna and any future children to be old enough to experience it, because if we were to do that now, she won't even remember that we lived in Spain for a year.
Yeah.
So if we were to do it when she's like 7, 8, 10, you know, then she'll remember it. So that's a long-term goal. It's kind of like a dream of ours. So we'll see.
Hey,
What is one of your happiest childhood memories?
you go first, because I have to think.
You want me to go first? I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, growing up, my grandparents used to drive me from New York to Florida every summer. Every summer we would go to New York to Florida, but we would drive and then drive back. And it was, you know, it's a 24-hour drive, guys. And just those memories, it would be like me and my cousins in the back seat. And even though as I got older, we would get on each other's nerves, me and my cousin. And even though it's tiring sometimes driving 24 hours and being a kid and everything, it's the memories that we made, and like remembering grandfather like playing like traditional Hindu music like chutney and all that stuff, and just remembering like my grandparents like being in love, like they would sing to each other. And there was like a lot of memories. We would stop a lot of places and eat food, and just getting there, like the road trip part of it, those memories, because we did it every year, it is such an ingrained memory in my childhood. And like each year was so different, like as you get older, when you're younger, so it's so ingrained that stands out as like best childhood memories. And that's one of the reasons that we do a lot of road trips with Anna. We did New York to Florida with her when she was 3 months old. So that Georgia trip we were talking about, we did New York to Florida, and then Florida to Georgia, and then drove back from Georgia. So we did last summer when she was a baby, we did a pretty substantial road trip with her and Charlie. So we did a road trip with a 3-month-old and a dog. And we intend to still do that. Like we have a road trip plan for this summer coming up as well. It's not as long, but we do have a road trip plan. And yeah, we intend to travel with her on planes, trains, and cars.
Buses.
So yeah, we love road trips, but that's where my love for road trips come from, and it is a substantial memory. So I would say that's probably like top 5, but that's what stands out to me right now, and that's why.
That's all.
You don't remember anything?
Childhood.
I mean, your childhood spans, right?
Exactly. We're talking all the way to like teenage years. I guess when I went to Disney World, I went to Disney World kind of late. I went late, right? I went when I was like 15, 16 for the first time. I loved it. It was the same thing. It was a road trip to Florida with my aunt and uncle and 2 cousins. We went to Florida. You know, I loved it while I was, you know, on the way down, on the way back up.
Road trip, see?
So it's just a thing. I mean, I didn't have as many road trips like that. That was literally my only time I ever drove to Florida. Every time
you guys do a road trip to the Candle Factory,
which is what I was gonna get to. So
yeah, that's a road trip. And I did that road trip with them when I first joined the family. That was a fun road trip too.
Yeah, when so Florida, I only drove to Florida that one. For my first time ever doing it was that road trip to Florida. The first time at 15, never drove to Florida until last summer when we did it with our family. Otherwise, my love for road trips really came from my uncle who introduced this family tradition where every Black Friday, which I won't do anymore on Black Friday, I'll do it on another weekend, but is go to the Candle Factory out in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's really pretty, guys.
It's very nice.
I mean, we never been
overnight
there.
Only. I don't think it's good for like more than that.
Yeah, it's definitely an overnight trip, but we never been there when it wasn't the holidays.
Right. So
but during the holidays, they decorate it. It's so pretty. We definitely want to continue that tradition with Anna and show her. We didn't get to do it this year, but eventually.
Next year, no later than the year after.
I mean, when she's old enough to also like experience it
pretty much
and stuff. But so That's funny that both of our childhood memories are kind of like road trips together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe road trips I heard somewhere that like there's something about a child being in a car and bonding with their family.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some psychology behind that. I heard that from some type of psychology show or something like that, and I don't remember where I heard it from, but apparently maybe that's true. When do you feel the most loved? That's the next question.
When do I feel the most loved?
Yeah, loved.
When let's say I do things around either the house or for you, just as simple, like just as much as you saying a simple thank you or just acknowledging that it's been done, and it comes off to me like, you know, that it was put my best foot forward, that I'm thinking about you and the house for that. That really like gets to me, because that tells me like, yeah, I'm like, because she's able to stop everything to be able to say a simple thank you.
I think
That's
like in a relationship, in our marriage, it's definitely like the time that we make for intimacy and like date nights, and the fact that we still do date nights and that we are consistent with them, and that quality time that's uninterrupted, that intimate time that's uninterrupted, making those special memories, even if it's in the house. Like we do date nights at least once a week or every other week, and we don't always go out. We do go out, but sometimes it's just in the house, and we have to like make the ambiance and make the time, and we might be doing a video on that eventually too.
Yes.
On how we do it and on what we mean by that. But definitely like the fact that we make that time and how we do it, and just taking that and not being interrupted, and making even an at-home time special is definitely makes like our love there. But even outside of a relationship, I think just when people just quality time in general, or when people go out their way to like check on you. Yeah. This one says, what made you fall in love with me?
You can start.
What made me fall in love with you? So before Sam, I had a lot of commitment issues. It wasn't so much like commitment issues, it was more like trust to commit, like the trust that has to happen for you to really commit to someone. And then when we started dating, and I guess through our friendship and then turned to dating, watch the How We Met video, but from our friendship and started dating, like I think I felt safer with you than anyone else. And then it was also like the way we handled conflict. I think like our first argument actually made me fall in love with you more, because we didn't argue unhealthy, and because we were able to talk it out and really understand each other. And that's not something that you find in today very often at all.
For me, it was the fact that, you know, you listen and you have, you know, you take in feedback if there's an issue. Like in previous relationships, it's always been like I say something and then they would do it again, because they're like, well, I'm not doing that for you. This is me. This is who I am. I'm like, but it's compromise. That's the whole point. And you know, this is how I feel, and if this makes me feel comfortable, I do this for you to make you feel comfortable, so why wouldn't you do that for me? And you know, that's how. So definitely, that's what made me first fall in love with you. Definitely, being her.
What is the best dream you've had recently?
Oh,
I had a really bad nightmare the other day, guys. So
best dream.
Best dream.
What does that mean? Best in a positive way? Best is in
positive,
vivid?
Yeah.
Like
best, like a happy, beautiful, I guess. That's how I'm taking it.
You gotta start that one.
I just said I had a nightmare. You know, on Friday I had a nightmare. It wasn't a beautiful dream, it was horrific.
Best dream? Recently? Listen, all I've been getting recently is just I close my eyes and then I wake up with the alarm. I haven't, like, it's been really hard. It's been tiring, but I don't know.
I guess not recently, but I honestly, I haven't been remembering. I usually remember a lot of my dreams. I haven't been remembering my dreams, and then the last dream I do remember wasn't a dream. It was a nightmare, like I said on Friday. But the best dreams, I used to have a lot of vivid, beautiful dreams when I was pregnant, and I would dream of Anna. And to be honest, it sounds so weird, but she literally looks like the babies from my dreams. So those dreams were not recent because it was almost a year ago, but like more than a year, whatever. But those were what I can remember. And he doesn't remember his dreams.
No, not
so
yet. I do get some nice vivid dreams, but
like once
not
a year.
recently.
Like once a year, you'd be like, "Oh, I had a nice dream, and this was what happened."
Like I can remember every detail, like to the T. Like if I do it this way, hey, is this part of my?
What happened? You being loud?
Yeah.
She has a play yard now, guys, and she loves it, and she just tries to stand all day and crawl and play and all this stuff.
That's all you're doing. Trust me, we would flip the camera. That'd be something fun to see.
And she's almost getting a new tooth.
Yep. Next. What is something you love most about our relationship?
A lot of things, but I guess that we're willing to work on things. I think people give up a lot nowadays. And also, like I said, that we have our specific relation. I want to say like not yes. I wouldn't call it relationship traditions, but almost like traditions. Like we have the date nights that we do regularly.
Took my answer, man. I was gonna.
But we can love the same thing. That's good that we love the same thing. But like that we do the date nights, that we keep the traditions, that we actually have things. Yes. That we actually have things built in that keep us grounded, connected, healthy.
Yeah.
Like the date nights, like the traveling, like our family stuff.
I think for me, if I had to pick one, if I had to really pick one, it definitely would be the date night, simply because, like you said, it keeps us grounded, and it kind of like forces you to buy in. Yeah, I know, and really makes you want to continue to rekindle peace.
Someone has demanded to say hi. She's teething, so she's not happy. Her tooth is almost coming out. Oh, it's white. With no tooth and teething rashes, my poor baby. But yeah, guys, so those are the questions that we kind of picked to share with you guys. And we did a few before, and then we're going to do a few tomorrow on the date that we're going on. And there's 100 questions, so it's probably going to take us a few nights and things like that. But it was a good exercise, and we just wanted to show you guys like an exercise you can do, and I'll link it, like I said, if you guys want to actually read the whole article. It's by a psychologist, like a couples therapist, and she talks about the science behind the questions, and then also she lists all the questions, 100. So these were only like 15 or so, but there's literally 100 questions, and some of them are funny, cute, deep, all of it. So it was just a fun way for us to show you guys a little bit that you can do with your own relationship, and also a way for you to get to know us a little bit and do a little bit of a Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe.
Please share it with anybody who
been together for a while.
Yes, or just anybody, you know.
Or if you guys want to do it as a date night and make it fun, like Sam said, whatever. And there are different ones too. Maybe I'll link a few, because this one is specifically for couples that have been together 5 years or more. But there's some like newlywed ones that we've done before and things like that. So I'll see what I can link. But hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next week.